Henry's performing a little bit of a shake movement now. This movement is rotating out the shoulders. Through this movement, it's very important to keep the wrist very relaxed and extend the fingertips away from the feet. We want to open up the joints and the skeleton of the body doing this so that we can realign. This is what would be known as an extended silk reeling because the elbow is not bent. Henry's coming in and utilizing a lot of waist rotation in this movement. So here you can see where the relationship between these movements and the martial arts and forms is clearly evident. Reversing this, allowing the hand to relax. His left arm is up on the point just below the shoulder blade. Any student of acupressure will know that points in this part of the body relate to letting go and releasing at every level of our being. Notice how the movement is spiraling up from the ground through his body, all the way to his hands and wrists. He's maintaining a level head all the way through this. He's not looking up or down. His eyes are using peripheral vision to pick the hand up as it's coming up, look into the hand, and then release. So not only are we training our body, we're also training our vision. So we can learn to pick things up peripherally. For martial artists, to see things out the corner of the eye gives you a greater advantage, than merely focusing on something. These movements of rotating across the waist also help to stimulate a little bit of adrenaline in the body, The spine is getting a twist here, right from the sacrum up to the neck. A torsional rotation that is much safer than inclining your body across gravity and then twisting and reaching for the ground as in some yoga postures, which if performed incorrectly can cause you more injury than good. From here, this closing movement to settle the weight, settle the chi, and bring the breath down into the abdomen if it's risen, or just to maintain it if it's there. The next movement, we're using two hands. This movement is coming from the little finger all the way down to the heel of the opposite hand when there is a hand above his head, At the same time, it's driven forward from the waist. It's performed in a very graceful and mindful fashion. And the whole body is part of this movement, even though certain parts of the body will be playing more of a predominant role in this than other parts. Notice the composition of the hands. Henry is adopting a very relaxed demeanor for this, as a relaxed body is much easier to work with than a tense one. When practicing this particular form, you can breathe energy in through your hands if you face them together, or breathe them out of your hands if you've got the palms facing away. It's very good to bring chi in from the crown of the head and bring it down to the ground as you're doing this. Utilizing the waist, sinking first the spine, then the shoulders, then the elbows, and then the fingers are following. At this point, the wrists are remaining very relaxed, with the exception at the bottom of the wrist, before the little finger, is allowing itself a little bit more opening than it normally does. At no time are we tensing any joints, tightening any connective tissue, or impeding the movement in any way whatsoever. The rising and falling of the hips is to allow the spine to sink to the ground. In a later edition, we'll show you just how many martial arts applications come from just the first few movements you've seen from here, And then closing and settling the weight again. From here, we're rotating the shoulders, opening up the triple hammers, which are just between the shoulder blades on either side of the spine. This allows the energy that's moved out into the hands from the waist here to start to move back down the spine and settle in around the waist, outside of the legs, and then come back up through the feet and be drawn inside the inside legs into the dantian. That's at a slightly more advanced level. But practicing these exercises just as they are, we'll do this naturally. Chen Tai Chi is very famous for applying joint locks. So having a supple skeleton will help you to escape any kind of joint locking. These techniques that you see here would be used to trap somebody's arm. And also, if somebody traps your arm, to just rotate the body away before the person applying a joint lock on you finds any hard point or solid point in the body to apply pressure into. It's also utilized to give you a bit of rotation on the lower lumbar region, sink the weight down the back, around the back of the buttocks, into the ground. Again, closing frequently between all of these allows the wrists, elbows, shoulders, and the whole body to relax. This movement is to develop coordination and synchronicity, so that when one hand is moving, the whole body is moving, which is used in the martial arts sense to deflect and return the energy to your opponent. Here it's also used to bring energy into the navel. Chen Tai Chi masters will look at a mountain and pull its energy towards them and use it to store up their own vitality. Doing this as he's breathing energy in through the hands, through the back, down the legs, back up the legs and into the stomach, and from there allowing it to settle down into the body. The Henry is maintaining visual contact with his eyes all the time, of his hands, therefore reducing the sphere of energy around himself so that his mind is not distracted. Where our mind goes, our energy follows. It's pointless doing Qigong and be wondering what you're going to be doing at work for the rest of the day afterwards, you know. It will greatly diminish the effect of the exercises. All of the core principles of Chen Tai Chi, push hands, silk reading, basic foundation exercises come from all these movements. From here, raising the energy, pushing out, extending all the fingers, utilizing a very relaxed waist. Again, you can notice that there's a very subtle lifting and sinking all the way through. This helps to just gently tease the connective tissue from the Achilles tendon around the knees, hips and lower back into getting a bit of energy as well, and prevents us from having a solid base. In other words, locked up legs and hips, which in push hands is a recipe for disaster. Here Henry is reversing the effect of sinking the energy. Prior to this he was lifting it up through the heart, now it's coming back through the heart and settling down. Stimulating the middle dantian and settling it and connecting it to the lower. This is known as the lesser microcosmic circuit. From here, utilizing intention and a bit of tension on the hands, he's then drawing the energy that's been generated in the previous part of this exercise into the connective tissue of the hands and forearms, where it can be slowly brought back in. It's commonly known that having too much qi is sometimes a bit more of an impediment to life than having not enough qi, as too much energy is difficult to manage, and not having enough qi will just lead us to having longer, more peaceful siestas. So from here, hook hand. All the hand forms in Tai Chi are practiced. It's intention and energy that generally moves the body in Tai Chi, not kinetic movement as in external martial arts, which is the acceleration of the mass of the body utilizing the mass itself. All these movements, as the hand is going out, correspondingly before the hand moves, the spine is sinking through the feet. At the same time, even though the body is coming upwards, the downward moving sinking dynamic is strongly in place. The Chen Tai Chi practitioner, or any style of Tai Chi for that matter, concentrates exclusively on getting their feet connected to the ground and not losing that root. These exercises greatly enhance motor skills and coordination, and I myself ride motocross and downhill biking and have found that my two sports in that respect have greatly improved since doing this, you know.